Hello and welcome to Language Learning Made Easy. In today's lecture, I'm going to revise Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. This play was written somewhere in the year 1599 and it's one of the several plays that are based on true events in Roman history, including Antony and Cleopatra. Now, without further ado, let's read the introduction part given in English Communicative book of your syllabus. Julius Caesar is a story of a man's personal dilemma over moral action set against a background of strained political drama. Julius Caesar, an able general and a conqueror, returns to Rome amidst immense popularity after defeating the sons of Pompey. So you have to understand that the play begins at a point where he has already turned victorious. He has already, defeated the sons of Pompey and has done something which is very unprecedented. So he has already reached the pinnacle of success. He has already reached that fame, that glory that people hanker after, but he's been able to get it very easily. And now with this, magnanimous victory that he has been able to get to his side, he returns to Rome. The people celebrate his victorious return and Mark Antony offers him the crown, which he refuses. You have to understand that he does not do it for power. He does not do it for the crown. He does not do it for the seat that people look after, right? But he is doing it because his conscience wants him to do it. Right? So from the beginning itself, we are getting to know some traits about his personality which will be concealed, which will be left inconspicuous during the reading of the play. So here people are very happy about the fact that he's been able to do something so grand and splendid and they are very elated. But then there are certain people on the other hand who are immensely instigated. They are jealous of what he's been doing. They are jealous of his growing power and they are afraid that he may be one of the dictators. Now there are certain styles with which you operate. So probably Caesar is known for being upright. He is known for being morally correct at all times and he is very firm with respect to his decisions. He is somebody who cannot waver from his path. He is somebody who will not deviate from what he has said and what he has claimed to do. So here it's not going well with certain people, and when certain things don't go well with certain people, they will try to put thorns in your way. So Cassius is somebody who is not very happy with what Caesar is able to achieve, and that is why he conspires against him. Now, what does he do? He conspires to murder Caesar altogether. Now, in order to hatch this plan, he will have to have certain people to his side, and to win over the trust of people and to justify what he is doing to others or to the people of Rome, he has to have the company or he has to have the consent of somebody who has the position of being morally rectitude, right? It's somebody who has the position of being morally upright at all times. Somebody who is supposed to be the most honorable of all the men in Rome. And that person turns out to be Brutus. Brutus is like Mahatma Gandhi, right? So he is somebody who will always be known for his deeds. He will always be virtuous. He will always be doing certain things which will be appreciated by people. He is the idealist, so people look up to him. Whatever he says, people will agree with him because he is supposed to be he has been doing certain things in his life that makes him the most honorable men of Rome. So here Cassius is very, very smart. He's so cruel and cunning that he ensures that Brutus is also brainwashed. Brutus is made to believe that what he is doing or what he is planning against Caesar is actually something that is going to be good for the entire people of Rome. Right, so let's start with the play now. Caesar says, "Nor heaven nor earth have been at peace tonight. Thrice had Calpurnia in her sleep cried out, 'Help, ho, they murder Caesar. Who's within?' Entered a servant. Servant says, 'My lord.'" Now what is happening here? The first scene itself, you see thunder and lightning. So you have to understand that this is like the setting of the play. It's a mood that is being set. And what does the mood of the play suggest to you? That there's something that is going to happen, something unexpected that is going to happen. It's a very eerie sort of an atmosphere. There is lightning, there is thunder, there is a lot of commotion happening at this point of time, and Caesar is talking to himself and he is letting the audience know that nor heaven nor earth have been at peace tonight. That means everything seems to be so perturbed. Everything seems to be so disturbed in nature. It seems everything is going hunky dory. It's going it's not going hunky dory. It seems to be going upside down. Thrice had Calpurnia in her sleep cried out. He's talking about his wife. He says that 3 times it's happened with Calpurnia that she's cried out in her sleep. She has woken up from her deep sleep and she's cried out in pain, and that pain is not a physical pain. It's something that it's something that she's been dreaming about him, and she's woken up with fear in her heart, and she says that they murder Caesar. Okay, so she has dreamt about Caesar's murder, and that is why she's so fearful, she's so scared at this point of time. And when he is telling us about all these things, and there's a servant that enters the picture, and Caesar says, "Go bid the priest do present sacrifice and bring me their opinions of success." Yeah, then you may skip these lines, and you can see that Calpurnia enters. "What mean you, Caesar? Think you to walk forth? You shall not stir out of your house today." So Calpurnia comes inside, and inside the room, and she says that what do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? You're not going to stir out of the house today. So she's so scared. She's so you can say disturbed after having had those dreams that she doesn't want Caesar to step out of the house. Caesar says, "Caesar shall forth. The things that threaten me never looked back on my back. When they shall see the face of Caesar, they are vanished." So you can see that Caesar has completely rebuffed her premonitions. Whatever premonitions that she's been having, premonition is something that is likely to happen. It's something like a negative omen that you're getting, and it's not a good sign. So Calpurnia has been having these kind of premonitions, and Caesar completely rebuffs them, and refusing to give in to any sort of fear. Calpurnia says, "Caesar, I never stood on ceremonies." If you read the footnotes, it says, "I've never paid attention to such omens and forecasts." Okay, yet now they fright me. There is one within besides the things that we have heard and seen. Recounts most horrid sights seen by the watch. A lioness hath whelped in the street. So she's saying that I'm also not superstitious. I'm also not somebody who will give in to these kind of fears. I'm not somebody who is so sensitive and overthinking about things that I will give in to such kind of petty omens that are coming in my way. I will not give in to such things at all. What I'm going to pay attention to has to have some import to it. So here what she says is that I have seen such horrid scenes in my dream that you will be aghast after listening to them. I've seen that a lioness is weeping in the streets, and graves have yawned and yielded up their dead. Fierce fiery warriors fought upon the clouds in ranks and squadrons, and right from a war which drizzled blood upon the capital. So what she has seen is, it's a way of saying that she has seen immense bloodshed all around. She has seen that people are getting into war with each other. She has seen that people are literally lashing out at each other. They are killing each other. They are slaughtering. They are murdering, and there is a lot of chaos and commotion that she has seen and witnessed in her dream. Ghosts did shriek and squeal about the streets. "Oh Caesar, these things are beyond all use." That means these are not indicating anything positive. And if we don't pay any attention to these premonitions, then they may turn against us. Caesar says, "What can be avoided? Whose end is purposed by the mighty gods? Yet Caesar shall go forth, for these predictions are to the world in general as to Caesar." So, he is again rubbishing all these premonitions, all these images that she has seen in her dreams, that she has witnessed in her dreams. And he says that if something has to happen, it will happen. If gods have ordained, if they have already preordained, or if they have already forecasted something, if they have already preordained these things in my destiny, then they will happen no matter where I am. Okay, so don't worry about such things. These kind of hints, these kind of inklings will be applicable to one and all. It's not just for me. If I have to die, I will die, no matter what you do, no matter how strongly you try to protest it. So Calpurnia says, "When beggars die, there are no comets seen. The heavens themselves blaze forth the death of princes." So what does she want to say here? That when a common man dies, there were no heavenly predictions that were made to indicate that they are going to die. Okay, so when a commoner dies, nothing happens. Nobody gets to know. But when somebody who is brave, somebody like a brave prince dies, when somebody in authority dies, or when something happens to him, then the heavens also, they become disturbed, right? The heavens also become disturbed and they set themselves on fire to announce such great tragedies. Caesar says, cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. Of all the wonders that I have yet heard, it seems to me most strange that men should fear seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come. So what happens here is he says that if I'm going to listen to you, if I'm going to give in to what you're saying, and if I'm going to pay heed to your, to these kind of negative omens, to these kind of suggestions that are being made by you, if I'm going to give in to this negativity, then people are going to call me coward. And cowards are the ones who get scared and they get fearful and they get, dreaded by these kind of inklings. So if I'm going to give in to these kind of inklings, then people are going to call me a coward and I am going to die many deaths before I actually die. Okay, and the valiant never taste of death but once. So he calls himself so brave. He's so self-assumed at this point of time. He's so preposterous about certain things in his personality that he does not want to pay heed to such things. So this is foolishness, sheer foolishness, that you're not listening to somebody who literally cares for you. And there are certain times when you should not be using your mind too much. You should listen to the voice of heart, and this is what he is not doing. So he says that I'm going to prove myself as a brave person. I'm not going to give in to these kind of suggestions that you're making in my way, and they are only acting as obstructions. I'm just going to do what I have already thought of. So, and servant enters and he brings in a message. He says that they would not have you to stir for today, plucking the entrails of an offering forth. They could not find a heart within the beast. Caesar says the gods do this in shame of cowardice. Caesar should be a beast without a heart. If he should stay at home today for fear, no, Caesar shall not. Danger knows full well that Caesar is more dangerous than he. We are two lions littered in one day. And I, the elder and more terrible, and Caesar shall go forth. You can see that he is so confident. It's not even confident, it's arrogance. Okay, he has gone up to that extent wherein he is not paying any heed to the suggestions that are being made by people who are very dear to him, right? And Calpurnia is yearning, she's longing, she's literally begging him not to step out of the house because of the premonitions that she has had, because she has this very strong feeling. She is intuitive about the fact that something lethal is going to happen to him, something fatal is going to come his way. But Caesar is Caesar. He's so he is consumed in confidence, so much so he's consumed in arrogance at this point of time that he doesn't want he doesn't want this act of staying at home or not going to the place where he had decided to, not going to the Senate, not going to meet the people at the Senate as an act of cowardice. So he says that Caesar is going to do, death has to know that I'm more dangerous than him, right? Calpurnia says, alas, my lord, your wisdom is consumed in confidence. That means you're too egoistic at this point of time. You are too consumed in confidence. Your understanding about things or your intelligence has completely taken over your wisdom, right? You're not understanding that I'm saying it not for the heck of it. I'm saying it because I can actually feel that there is something suspicious that has been planned for you at the Senate House. Now, this is something that is not asking you. We'll send Mark Antony to the Senate House and he shall say, you are not well today. Let me upon my knee prevail in this. So she literally begs Caesar not to step out. She says that we're going to ask Mark Antony, who is a dear friend of yours, to go to the Senate House and let people know. He will cook up an excuse or he will present an excuse that you won't be able to come because you are under the weather. So Caesar says, Mark Antony shall say, I'm not well, and for thy humor, I will stay at home. So Caesar finally complies to this request because she is literally on her knees to request him not to go out. And he says that, okay, I will listen to you. I will do as you tell me. Then Decius Brutus enters the picture. And he says, Caesar, all hail, good morrow, worthy Caesar, I come to fetch you to the Senate House. So he is somebody who will jeopardize Calpurnia's plan because he is going to twist the image, he's going to twist the entire plan, he's going to change the explanation, he's going to give another perspective, another explanation to the images that Calpurnia has dreadfully seen in her dream. And you are come in very happy time to bear my greeting to the senators and tell them that I will not come today, cannot is false, and I dare not falter. I will not come today, tell them so, Decius. So, Caesar thinks that instead of telling Antony about it, let's not waste time and just pass this information through Decius Brutus, who has come to fetch him, right? So he says that you have come in the right time, and I think you should let them know that I will not be able to come today. Able is something that he does not want them to know, because he is very much able to come there. He will not come is something that he has decided on. So there lies the difference. Calpurnia, say he's sick, Caesar. Shall Caesar send a lie? Have I in conquest stretched mine arm so far to be afraid to tell greybeards the truth? Decius, go tell them Caesar will not come. So he doesn't want Decius Brutus to lie. He doesn't want them to tell a lie to the senators. He only wants to pass this information that he will not come today for reasons best known to him only. He's not sharing any, he's not disclosing any reason as such. Decius says, most mighty Caesar, let me know some cause, lest I be laughed at when I tell them so. So Caesar says, Calpurnia, hear my wife stays me at home. She dreamt tonight, she saw my statue, which like a fountain with 100 spouts did run pure blood, and many lusty Romans came smiling and did bathe their hands in it. And these does she apply for warnings and portents and evil imminent, and on her knee had begged that I will stay at home today. So he is very straight, very blatant, very upfront in what he, in sharing what keeps him at home. So he says that this is the dream, and this is what she has seen, this is what my wife has seen in the dream. And she's so scared that she doesn't want me to step out of the house. She can see that there is a statue of Caesar, and hundreds of spores are oozing out blood from it, because it has been punctured. Probably people have killed him so brutally that his entire body seems to be it's wrecked with blood. So this is something that is dreading her. This is something that is making her feel daunted from inside, and being a wife, she cannot allow me to step out. And this is the reason that I'm not coming to the Senate house. Decius very smartly manipulates the entire thing. He maneuvers the plan, and he says, this dream is all misinterpreted. It was a vision fair and fortunate. Your statue spouting blood in many pipes, in which so many smiling Romans bathe, signifies that from you great Rome shall suck reviving blood, and that great men shall press for tinctures, stains, relics, and cognizance. It clearly indicates that he is just trying to play with the ego, with the confidence, or he's just trying to soothe and tempt Caesar into believing what he's saying is actually not the truth. He's saying that he's soothing his ego. He's letting him know that what she has seen is actually not true. She has misinterpreted this dream, or you have misinterpreted this dream, because this implies that with your blood, Romans are going to lusty Romans are not going to feel satisfied. They are not going to be satiated, but rather they are going to be satisfied with the blood that is going to revive their hopes in the history. With your blood here implies contribution. With the massive contributions that you're making, with the most humane approaches that you're taking to the upliftment, for the upliftment of the entire Roman Empire, things are going to turn for positive for everyone. So people are going to seek you as a role model. They are going to look up to you as somebody who has done so much for the well-being of people of Rome, right? So this by Calpurnia dream is signified. So he's been able to soothe Caesar's ego. He's been able to let him know, he's been able to make him feel convinced that what she's dreamt of is actually misinterpreted, and he's been able to have his way too. And this you have well expounded. Well expounded means you have explained it pretty well. And Decius Brutus says, I have. When you have heard what I can say, and I know it now, the Senate have concluded to give this day a crown to mighty Caesar, and if you shall send them word will not come, their minds may change. So what does he say at this point of time? He says that the Senate, the people at the Senate house were planning to crown you today. There was a coronation ceremony that had been in plan for you, that had been in store for you. But if you're going to say no to it, they may just change their plan. Caesar says, how foolish do your fears seem now, Calpurnia. I'm ashamed I did yield to them. Give me my robe and I will go. So Caesar finally feels so confident about his abilities that he thinks that he can overcome these kind of premonitions too. And he finally sidelines the suggestions that were made to him. He rubbishes them and he walks out with Decius Brutus to the Senate house. Caesar enters and he sees that these are the senators over there, the people who are there to welcome him. There is Publius, Brutus, Ligarius, Metellus, Casca, Trebonius, and Cinna. So what does he say? Caesar says, "Good friends, go in and taste some wine with me, and we like friends will straightway go together." Then there is Brutus. That every like is not the same, O Caesar, the heart of Brutus yearns to think upon. He makes this very important statement at this point of time. He says, "My heart grieves when he thinks that being like a friend is not the same as being a friend." So people who are pretending, he's made a very ironic statement here. However, it's going to, it's something that is making you understand what's going to happen with him now. What does he want to indicate? That people who are pretending to be like your friend may not be your actual friends, because he knows in his heart of hearts that he has been called here, that Caesar has been called here because he's going to be not coronated. He's not going to be coronated here. He's not going to be crowned here. He's only going to be murdered. It's a part of their plan and they wanted it to be successfully implemented. With this, we move on to the Act 3, Scene 1. Rome, before the Capitol, the Senate sitting above. Flourish. Enter Caesar, Brutus, Cassius, Casca, Decius Brutus, Metellus, Cimber, Trebonius, Cinna, Antony, Lepidus, Propylaeus, Publius, and others. So all these people have gathered here in huge numbers, and they are all marking their attendance because they have come here not to coronate Caesar. They have come here to hatch the plan that Cassius has, execute the plan that Cassius has hatched for them. Okay. So Caesar says, "Are we all ready? What is now amiss that Caesar and his Senate must redress?" Metellus Cimber says, "Most high, most mighty, and most puissant Caesar." Metellus Cimber, throws before thy seat an humble heart. Kneeling, Caesar says, "I must prevent you." So, Metellus Cimber is somebody whose brother has been sent into exile, and he is here to advocate his case. Okay, suddenly he comes into the picture and he says that I've come here to convince you. I'm standing here before your seat with a humble heart. Why is he standing with a humble heart? It's because he wants to make a request. He wants to put up a request. "Caesar, I must prevent thee, Cimber. These couchings and these lowly courtesies might fire the blood of ordinary men." That means these kind of bowing and bending and pleasing and sycophancy, this kind of sycophancy is not going to help me. It's not going to yield to any results because I'm not going to be convinced with them. So stop doing such things and let me know what you've come here for. "And turn pre-ordinance and first decree into law of children. Thy brother by decree is banished." That means I had ordered your brother to be banished, to be exiled, to be thrown out of Rome. "If thou dost bend," that means if you bend and pray and fawn for him, if you've come here to seek mercy for him, if you've come here to change my order, and if you've come here to convince me to think about my decree, I spurn thee. That means I reject you like a cur out of my way. I'm just not going to pay any heed to it. "No, Caesar doth not wrong. Without any cause will he be satisfied." So whatever I have decided to do, or whatever decision I have taken, it was taken with keeping everything in mind, with a lot of wisdom. I did not do it impulsively. I did it with all my mind, and I'm going to stick to whatever I had said. Metellus Cimber says, "Is there no voice more worthy than my own to sound more sweetly in great Caesar's ear for the repealing of my banished brother?" Brutus says, "I kiss thy hand, but not in flattery, Caesar, desiring thee that Publius Cimber may have an immediate freedom of repeal." So you can see here, Metellus Cimber has already got this idea that Caesar is not going to comply, that Caesar is not going to listen to what he is requesting him to do. He's not going to he's definitely not going to give in to what he has requested him to. So Brutus says he requests people to come forth and help him convince Caesar into getting his banished brother back. So Brutus says, "I kiss thy hand." I'm kissing your hand. It's a way of showing respect. So I'm going to kiss your hand not as a sign of sycophancy, not as a sign of flattery, but I desire that you listen. I request you, or I literally desire that you At least give an ear to what he's requesting you for. Caesar says, "What? Brutus?" Cassius says, "Pardon, Caesar, Caesar, pardon. As low as thy foot doth Cassius fall to beg enfranchisement for Publius Caesar." So Cassius also comes into the picture, and he also starts requesting for reversal of this order that he had made against Publius Caesar, because he also wants him to be back. Everyone starts, convincing Caesar, but Caesar is Caesar. Cassius, I would not. I could be well moved if I were as you. If I could pray to move, prayers would move me. But I am constant as the northern star, of whose true fixed and resting quality there is no fellow in the firmament. I was constant. Simba should be banished, and constant do remain to keep him so. So you can see that despite so many requests, despite them impeaching him to revert his order, he is not giving in to these requests. He says that I'm going to remain fixed in my decision like the pole star, okay? And nobody is going to waver me from my path. Nobody will be able to make me feel that whatever I've chosen to do was not right, okay? So I'm going to remain firm. No need to beseech me, no need to request me, no need to do whatever you're doing over here. This is not going to yield to any good. Casca says, "Speak, hands for me." Casca first, then the other conspirators, and Brutus stabs Caesar. So this was the last nail in the coffin. You can see that after giving into, after requesting him, it's a deliberate plan. Are you able to understand that Cassius wanted such things to be presented before Brutus? Cassius wanted Casca, he wanted Metellus Cimber to come forth with his request, and he knew what is going to come. He knew that Caesar is not going to give in to their demands. He's going to remain firm with what he has already said. And that is why he wanted to present all these things before Brutus, so that he feels convinced that whatever they have decided against Caesar is and something that should be done. So immediately afterwards, you see that Casca and others, they brutally stab Caesar. And Caesar dies with the last statement, "Et tu, Brute," then falls Caesar. He dies with a statement that even you, Brutus, because he dies with this in disbelief. He dies in disbelief of the fact that his own friend, the person whom he trusted so much, the person whom he considered to be the most honorable man among all the senators, among all the people of Rome, was also involved in this conspiracy of killing him. So finally, you see two things happening. We see that Cassius very cunningly is able to convince Brutus into believing that Caesar is not somebody who is going to relent to our desires. He is somebody who is going to turn into a dictator if he is crowned. Okay, and this has been proven by this particular scene that was presented to us by Metellus Cimber's request on getting his brother back. Second thing, Calpurnia's dream about him being killed is also proven to be right. So that premonition has actually turned out to be right. He did not pay any attention to that premonition, so you have seen the results. Cinna says, "Liberty, freedom, tyranny is dead. Run hence, proclaim, cry it about the streets." So he says that this is, they're proclaiming as if they've been able to achieve liberty by killing Caesar. Cassius says, "Some to the common pulpits and cry out liberty, freedom, and enfranchisement." Brutus says, "But here comes Antony. Re-enter Antony, welcome Mark Antony." It is at this crucial moment when Mark Antony, a very dear friend of Caesar, enters into the picture, when they are hailing and shouting slogans of freedom and liberty after killing of the mighty King Caesar, right? So we're going to stop here.